All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this reaction review of WandaVision Episode 5. And yes, we are back. We're back to the sitcoms. A lot of people don't like it. I don't care. I love it. I love these sitcom episodes. But this time it's more of a mixture. We get a little bit more of the Marvel-ness of Episode 4, but also we get some more sitcoms from the previous 3 episodes, or the first 3 episodes. So yes, what happens this time? Well, this time, it's an 80s to early 90s sitcom-ness, taking the form of a Family Ties and a Full House episode, which I thought was pretty clever. In fact, I would dare say that would be a missed opportunity. Kevin Feige knows this. I mean, who's Elizabeth Olsen's older sisters? That, of course, is Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, aka the twins from Full House. So, if they weren't going to do a Full House parody, I would be kinda just dumbfounded that they didn't take that chance. But they did. Very, very not as much as Family Ties. It was more Family Ties than Full House, which I was a little bit disappointed in, but they still referenced Full House quite a lot to an extent, which I really did enjoy. Not to say that I hate Family Ties, but I mean, it's Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, she's connected to Full House, whether she wants to or not. I mean, but they did reference it. Good job. As little as it is, but whatever. Also, a few corrections from my previous reaction review. There wasn't a commercial, so I didn't have the obligation to talk about it because there wasn't any. Also, I'm going to probably just stop saying that the performances are fantastic because they are. I mean, I talked about a few of them, but I mean, just Monica and everyone, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, amazing, fantastic job. I don't think I should say it anymore because it's just dead air. I mean, it's obviously, they're going to have fantastic performances unless said otherwise. So let's just continue with this as we go along, shall we? In this particular episode, the babies that Wanda gave birth to, I guess it was yesterday in the show's run, they actually grow up to being age 5, and then they grow up to be age 10. So they just continue to grow and grow, although stopping at age 10, which, for better or for worse, I mean, I don't know. And I gotta say, the 10-year-old kids aren't that bad of actors. The 5-year-old kids, they're a little, meh. But the good news is we don't really see a lot of them, so it might be for the better. But the 10-year-old kids, they actually aren't that bad. So props to the casting department for getting some great kids. I mean, good job. Anyway, so basically there are 2 separate stories, and I'm going to detail each and every one of them. So here we go. The first story is around Wanda and Vision and all that type of stuff. So basically, it's Wanda and Vision trying to live their lives with their kids. Wanda trying to juggling how the kids are growing and all that and taking care of the kids and a lot of other stuff, while Vision is busy doing his work and being skeptical about the world. Like, how are the kids growing? Why didn't Wanda kind of hide her abilities to Agnes when she's done that all throughout the show so far? And apparently an email from Sword actually happens to come on to one of the newer computers of the 80s. So Vision, somehow, I don't really understand what motivated him to do this, or the fact that how he was kind of understood how to do this, but he lets go of one of the workplace employees, and it turns out that he's actually a real person. He's gasping for air. He's basically going insane because he's under a sort of spell, if you will. But in order to contain him, Vision kind of warps him back to his vegetated states, which is really weird for Vision to do, but I'm not going to question it quite yet. But anyway, next we got Wanda and the kids having a new dog named Sparky, and then apparently, somehow, when Agnes has Sparky, Sparky dies. And the kids want her to bring him back from the dead. And apparently, Wanda can't do that. Thus, giving us a little bit of a hint into the limitations of her powers, being that she can't bring people back from the dead. Thus, telling us, the viewers, giving us little hints into the fact that I believe Vision is not a real person, and in fact, he's fake. She can't bring people back from the dead, so how can she bring back Vision from the dead? I mean, yeah, kind of obvious there. And apparently, they, from the real side of the universe, Monica comes back and figures out how to kind of morph all the reality, I guess, and gets an 80s style drone to come in to see if they can talk to Wanda to let everyone go. And we also get a subtle hint into hers and Captain Marvel's relationship as well, if I'm remembering correctly. Apparently Monica Rambeau isn't all that fond of Captain Marvel anymore, probably because she went off-world in the 90s and didn't come back any time. And I believe we're going to see that relationship kind of transpire in The Marvels, which is a new movie, aka Captain Marvel 2, which will be coming out in a few years. But now back to this episode. And apparently the big bad guy from the previous episode is trying to take out Wanda, even though she could easily have taken out Thanos, aka the crazy Titan himself. Probably the most memed thing to come out of the MCU, except for Baby Groot. Yeah, he tried to take her out, and of course she survived. Thus, not trusting anybody outside of the barrier and continue making the drone explode, coming out of the barrier, talking with the people in the most Marvel-ish way possible, being all cocky and stuff, and then making the barrier red so they can't even see inside the barrier anymore. Thus being more House of M than ever before, I suppose. Oh, but we're not done yet. All the timelines and storylines collide into one of the biggest, giganticest things to ever appear in the MCU up to this point. One of the things that got the internet uproar and ablaze and all that. After having a fight between Wanda and Vision, kind of like a standoff, not really a fight, but more of a standoff, because Vision wants everyone to get released, while Wanda's like, no, I did this for you. Lo and behold, the doorbell rings. Marcy looks at it too, or Darcy looks at it too, and Pietro comes back, but it's not our Pietro from the MCU. No, this is Pietro, aka Quicksilver, from the X-Men universe, the same actor. And I gotta admit, when I first watched this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Just like everyone else on the internet, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to introduce the X-Men into this show? How could they not? What could they possibly do? This is way too much of it was way too much coincidence to be brought here, even though this was made way before Disney and Marvel could even have the X-Men in their show. And if they did, it would ruin a lot of the contracts and a lot of the laws dedicated to making this merger happen between Disney and Fox. And I even knew it back then, but if you guys want to look it up and get spoiled, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying anything. But yeah, overall it was a pretty decent episode. I would say there's a few more, I mean, all the good is basically understood. I mean, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, fantastic actors. Everyone acted really well, especially Catherine Hahn. And now we get to see everybody come together basically to see what the world is nowadays and all that type of stuff. As well as apparently there are more episodes to this show that we have not seen as the audience. So maybe they'll come out with a season 2 of that. I doubt it, but it wouldn't be that bad to see, in my opinion. But anyway, I like the standoff with Vision and Wanda kind of floating in the air and all that, kind of like, what are you going to do, huh? I love you, but I don't want you to do this, Wanda. And she's like, I love you too, but I have to do this, Vision. You know, that type of thing. It was really sweet, actually. The one thing that I don't necessarily like in this episode is the fact that Vision just pulls something out of his ass and kind of redoes what Wanda did all of a sudden without even knowing what to do. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of lazy. Not set up all that well, I don't think. It's kind of weird. I don't understand why Vision did it. I mean, I understand why he did it. I don't understand how he knew how to do it. I don't know. It could have been explained a little bit better. Also, the 80s drone. I don't know if in the 80s they actually did have drones. Maybe it was, I don't know, technology that was in Area 51 or something that no one, I don't know. I'm not really a huge military technological person. And again, this is the same universe where apparently in the 1990s, a flying alien human crash landed in a blockbuster and we made the most perfect human being fighting machine in the 1940s. So, I mean, who knows? I don't know. But those are my real complaints about that episode. But overall, I really did enjoy it. It still catches my interest still. And I wouldn't say it's a bad episode. I wouldn't say the show is bad either. I'd just say maybe take a little bit more thought into a little bit of those two areas. But otherwise, very, very well done. Question is for you guys. What did you think of this episode? Do you like the fact that it shares the two timelines now of Wanda in the TV world and the regular people in the real world, quote unquote? Comment, let us know, subscribe, ring that bell. More content come your way. And hey, take care. Also, hey guys, this is me coming back in from finishing the episode review. And I just wanted to say that I missed out on one aspect, and I briefly mentioned it. It was the commercial. This time was about Lagos paper towels cleaning up people's messes. This is a reference to Wanda's destruction of Lagos in Captain America Civil War, thus implementing the Sokovia Accords. So, yeah, I forgot to mention it. I thought it was very, very well done, as per usual. And, yeah, that's